Before getting started with this video, I want to remind everyone about the giveaway I am doing on this channel for your chance to win the Batman by Grant Morrison Omnibus Volume 1. All you have to do is make sure you're subscribed to the channel and comment on any video I post during the month of February. Good luck to everyone, and now let's start off the video. Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today I want to talk about Batman Spawn, the 2022 one-shot written by Todd Mcfarlane with art by Greg Capullo and Todd Mcfarlane. The third crossover between Batman and Spawn, the first two happening way back in the 90s, were finally collected by DC last year in the Batman Spawn, the Classic Collection hardcover. I had a video on this, and actually it's my most viewed comic book review on this channel. Within a month, like not even a month, 2 weeks, this video blew past everything I did this past year regarding my comic reviews. Seemed to be really liked by the people watching it, so if you haven't, definitely check it out. But after you watch this one, right now, this one's more important. So finally, Batman Spawn, after 30 years, reuniting, written, like I said, by Todd Mcfarlane, with pencils by Greg Capullo and inks by Todd Mcfarlane. Let's see how it measures up. By far the biggest comic release of last year. I mean, they had like 50 variant covers for this. They had 1 in 666 incentive variant covers for comic book stores. It was absolute insanity. People were really buying into this. I mean, if Batman 3 Jokers was the comic book of 2021, this was definitely it for 2022. We can see it right here with the credits. I mean, like I said, Todd McFarlane, Greg Capullo, and here we have variant covers by, and look at this huge list. Amazing names here. I mean, nothing to complain about on that front. And the variant covers looked absolutely gorgeous, sure, but they just went all in on it. People really bought this, but why did they do it? I mean, sure, variant covers are nice, but what's inside? Well, I'm here to tell you, I mean, spoilers for the rest of the video, but I'm just gonna say it, this comic book is absolute garbage. Honestly, this might be the worst comic book I've read last year. I know I did my worst comics of 2022 video, and I still stand by those choices, but man, the more I think about it, I should have included this one there because it's just... So, the comic book it's just funny even talking about it. The comic book starts with this premise. Batman's mother and Spawn's wife were killed in the same day at the same time, which is just crazy. But sure, what's happening there? So the Court of Owls is included in this crossover, and they somehow found a way to manipulate time and space, altering realities. I mean, I just think that Todd saw everyone getting crazy about multiverse stuff this past year, and he said, sure, I'll do that, and this was his little version of it. So, the Court of Owls, altering realities, and their big plan is to pit Batman against Spawn so that their fight would unleash a bigger evil and give the Court of Owls the ultimate power that they seek, while also getting rid of Batman. That doesn't really make sense, and that's just the thing for this comic. It's so nonsensical. And the writing, I mean, look at this panel. We needed them back. Too bad she had to die. It just reminds me of that scene in the second Mortal Kombat movie. And it's. You know what scene I'm talking about. It's really bad. And it's so simplistic. It's like it's written by a fourth grader. I mean, even by Todd's standards, this is. It's crazy how little effort was put in writing this comic book. And it's like the comic's 50 pages. There's a lot of it, you know? And it's really, really bad, man. But hey, you're not gonna go into a Spawn book for the writing, right? Maybe for Batman, but not for Spawn. How's the art? Here's the thing. I mean, it's good. Obviously, you have Greg Capullo reuniting with Todd McFarlane for this. It looks absolutely amazing. Way, way better than what Todd did in with the art for the second crossover between Batman and Spawn, written by Frank Miller. This is just leagues better than that. However, I mean, going back to those two crossovers, the first one had story. The second one by Frank Miller and McFarlane had absolutely no story. It was just one big fight scene. This one, we tackled the story, but it should rely on the fight scenes, right? Well, it doesn't really have that either. I mean, sure, Batman and Spawn fight when they first meet up for like 4 pages here, and you can see it really looks amazing. But after that, they stop, and the comic doesn't really go back to this. Sure, we get some more fighting. I mean, the Court of Owls, of course, has their superhuman assassin, but there's just a lot more talking than there is action. And like I said, the talking, the writing, it's really not good. So just, it's a shame because the art can give us something like this. I mean, just look at these two panels. But we don't get more than this, and I feel like we really should. I mean, again, it's Greg Capullo and Todd McFarlane. Come on. Like I said, I don't think this comic really knows what it wants to be. The story isn't it for this one. The action isn't it. I mean, look at this. Oh, the owl assassin kicks Batman. And that's it for like these 2 pages. Come on, man. We needed more of this. We didn't really get it. And the annoying part is, I mean, we can see it here when Batman and Spawn go talk to the Joker. They're really hinting at more of this. Even by the end, when everything should be resolved, we get this epilogue where Spawn's wife is alive, Batman's mother is alive, and we see the clown here plotting his next move, definitely hinting at more of this, and I don't see why. I mean, the story didn't deserve more of this. The art, while of course amazing, didn't show us enough action to warrant more of this. I don't get why we should receive a sequel. I mean, of course, if you think about the sales, like, yeah, sure, why shouldn't they put more of this out? And yeah, if you go by that metric, sure, put as many as you can. But man, other than the sales, And the two, we got these double spreads. These were great. This one, and I showed it earlier, come on. And this one definitely highlights. But other than that, this comic really wasn't it. Oh, and there's one thing I want to point out. This panel with Spawn's scar here with the stitches, awesome throwback to their second meeting, again by Frank Miller and Todd McFarlane. I really like that, but again, this doesn't make sense. Because in here, both Batman and Spawn seem to be from way different universes, and it kind of seems like this is the actual first time they meet. So how did Spawn get this car? Again, very nonsensical, but still really cool. And for just a one panel throwback, sure, I'll allow it. And listen, at the end of the day, all of my questions regarding this comic book or its possible sequel, why did we get this, why would we need a sequel to this, could simply be answered by the fact that it's Todd McFarlane. Todd wanted to do this because Todd wants to sell more comics, because that's what he does. It's really as simple as that. I mentioned about Todd's, standards for writing. Listen, he's kept the Spawn name alive for 30 years. To compare that, G.I. Joe had their 30-year anniversary, the comic series, back in November. You know how they celebrated it? The series got cancelled because IDW lost the license. Sure, Larry Hama might return with a new series, maybe a continuation for a new publisher, but as we're standing right now, G.I. Joe is dead. For their 30-year anniversary, the series got cancelled. Spawn keeps on going, and some would argue is stronger than ever. They have one comic book out every week. That's huge for an independent creator. The fact that he sells so many comics when he won, Spawn 300 was the third or actually second best-selling comic book of 2019. Think about that. After 30 years, we still see the Spawn name. And it's because of things like this, and it's because, like I said, Todd wants it. Not even getting into all his McFarlane toy stuff, just killing it on that front. He knows how to sell things. Say what you will, and there's definitely a lot to be said about his writing talents. He's a businessman. First and foremost, he's an artist, and we can't take these things away from him. As I've mentioned many times on this channel, I got back into comics back in 2019, and within a few months, 2020 happened, all that madness, and comic books just shut down. And it was absolutely crazy to me as a newcomer, seeing an entire industry just close itself. At first because of one guy, because Diamond refused to distribute them, but then we had Marvel Comics coming with their pencils down initiative, and I just couldn't understand it. How could something so big in my eyes as the entire American comic book industry shut down because something like that? But back then we had Todd McFarlane when no one was selling comic book issues, going on YouTube on every comic book YouTube channel that would have him doing interviews, 1 hour, 2 hour long interviews with comic book channels that had like 200 subscribers. If you wanted to talk to Todd McFarlane, he was willing to talk to you. He was willing to spread the message that, hey, we're going over this little bump. Comics is still here. And no one from the comic industry was doing that except Todd McFarlane. And for that, I'll always appreciate what he does. I mean, you can see it here. That was what got me into Spawn comics, and I started collecting them with issue 311. I really appreciated his effort and the passion that he was showing. Again, sure, it was businessman Todd talking, but it was also comics creator Todd assuring us that, hey, everything in the end will turn out to be okay. And I mean, we saw it, comics are still here. But yeah, definitely appreciate him for that. And I'll always appreciate him for the passion that he has for comic books. Whether it's doing them, whether it's selling them, he is here to stay. And I mean, how can you not love that? Okay, and that was it for my video. Thank you so much to everyone watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. If you're new to the channel, subscribe for even more comic book reviews. I've been doing them for the past year, and I'm sure you'll find something that you love. Like I mentioned earlier, my review of the Batman Spawn Classic Collection, definitely go check that one out, and I'll see everyone in my next video. Bye.